Chapter 71, Squeeze Your Head Out. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Looking at Ye Qiu, the girl raised a nice eyebrow. He tilted his head and said in surprise. You can talk. I thought you were mute. Several black lines appeared on Ye Qiu's forehead. I gave her a look in my heart. He smiled lightly and said, Are you okay? After learning that Ye Qiu is a soul master, but she quietly put down the wooden stick in her hand. You won't die. He snorted coldly and stood up. He slapped his butt and wiped his clothes clean. Ye Qiu looked at her in surprise and said in surprise. Can you stand up? I thought you were disabled. Asshole. What nonsense are you talking about? I am not a cripple. You are obviously blind. You hit me. The girl suddenly stared angrily and her face turned red with anger. It looks a bit pleasing to the eye, except for the stature. There is nothing to say about the face. Ye Qiu, you are so bad. Ah Yin was also amused by Ye Qiu's words. This guy really doesn't want to suffer any losses. He glanced at the stick on the ground. Ye Qiu also couldn't help laughing. Her little movements of picking up the stick were noticed by Ye Qiu, but it was true that he was talking to Ah Yin and didn't pay much attention to the road. I'm so sorry about that. Since you have nothing to do, I'll leave first. Said sorry, Ye Qiu then raised his steps and prepared to leave. There is ample time, even if she is Ning Rongrong, now is not a good time to propose a union. Hey, Ye Qiu wanted to leave, but she was not happy. Drink him directly. You are a majestic soul master, but you bump into a weak woman like me. Is it enough to just say sorry? I haven't even accepted your apology yet. At this time, she stopped Ye Qiu. She didn't call herself miss anymore, and was looking at him with her hands on her hips and an unhappy look on her face. Weak woman. Ye Qiu's eyes were filled with genuine surprise, because he had already seen the scenery at the corner of this alley. That's a dead end. Inside, there were several figures lying in various directions, most of them covering their crotches and crying uncontrollably. Let me tell you, you are not a weak woman, are you? Ye Qiu pointed at them. He looked at the girl in front of him strangely. Although the people lying inside were ordinary people, she, a little girl, could bring down these guys. It's not too weak by any means. Then he pointed to the stick on the ground, with a teasing smile. Besides, you were planning to give me a set just now, right? Ye Qiu looked at him like this. There was also a slight blush on the girl's face, adjusted quickly. Humph. It is precisely because I am a weak woman that I am coveted by them. The girl snorted coldly. One foot poked out from the bottom of her skirt, her fair ankle swayed, and she kicked aside the stick under her feet. Then he said arrogantly. Anyway, if you hit me, you have to compensate me. Ye Qiu shrugged, looking at the unreasonable girl. I feel helpless. Didn't I apologize to you? The girl put her hands on her hips and said, just a verbal apology. There is no sincerity at all. Sincerity? Ye Qiu sneered. Then what do you want? What do you think is sincerity? Do I have to treat you to dinner? Have a meal? The girl's green eyes lit up and turned twice. He took a look at Ye Qiu's attire. He smiled slyly and clapped his hands. Snapped. He said happily. It is good. Since you want to invite me to dinner, I will reluctantly agree to it. Ye Qiu looked at her with a strange face. When did he say that he wanted to treat her to dinner? Ha ha. Ah Yin's charming laughter kept coming. She finally saw someone who could give Ye Qiu a headache. Hey. As long as you treat me to a meal, forget about your conflict with me. Otherwise, people will keep pestering you. The girl put her hands behind her back and looked at Ye Qiu with a sweet smile. His blue eyes were very lively. He twisted his body, cooed and acted coquettishly. I'm afraid there are a few people lying in the alley. That's how she was tricked into coming here. Looking at her weird look, Ye Qiu used his buttocks to figure out what trick she was going to play. It happened to be getting dark at this time. All day long today, he only had one breakfast. He held his chin and pondered for a moment. He smiled and nodded. All right. Then as an apology, I'll treat you to a meal. The girl suddenly beamed. Then let's just say it, I have the final say on what to eat. Okay, you have the final say. Lead the way. Ye Qiu nodded seriously and looked at her with a smile in his eyes. Humph. You know what's going on. He raised his head proudly and walked out of the alley. Ye Qiu also followed with a smile, walked side by side with her. Hey, what's your name? I can't keep calling you hello, right? Before asking someone for their name, shouldn't you introduce yourself first? My name is Ning Rongrong. What about you? Ye Qiu secretly said that it was true, calmly. My name is Ye Qiu. Ye Qiu. What is your martial spirit? What level of cultivation is it now? Ning Rongrong looked at him curiously. Ye Qiu did not answer, but asked. Are you a soul master? Ning Rongrong hesitated for a moment and shook her head. No. Ye Qiu raised his eyebrows. This girl was still a little wary, but not much. Since it's not the case, why are you asking so many questions? You. What's so great about it? I don't want to know about it. Ning Rongrong gritted her teeth and glared at Ye Qiu fiercely. See if I don't let you spend all your money later. Seeing her vicious look, Ye Qiu suddenly sneered. Why are you laughing? Ning Rongrong frowned. As an ordinary person, you actually dare to threaten this soul master. Aren't you afraid that I will do something to you? Ye Qiu said, then he directly put his hands on her round shoulders. Get out of my way. Ning Rongrong trembled and immediately opened Ye Qiu's hand. With a red face, he threatened, stop scaring me. If you dare to touch me, you will definitely die miserably. She knew it, there are always people around me secretly protecting me, otherwise, she would not dare to pester Ye Qiu too much. I'm just scaring you. After all, I don't like poached eggs and peanuts. Ye Qiu shrugged, he glanced at her small body with contempt on his face. He really didn't know how to do anything. He had just scanned the surroundings with his eye of insight. There were several soul emperors alone. Ah, you bastard, don't look around. Ning Rongrong's face turned red and she covered her body, ashamed and angry. She said angrily, if I grow up, I will definitely blow your head off. Ye Qiu, how could she say such things? Ah Yin also blushed when she heard Ning Rongrong's words. It's really a bit tough. Ye Qiu was also a little embarrassed. He could only say that he was worthy of being the little witch Ning Rongrong. I wish you all a happy life. Chapter 72 Teaching A Yin is ordinary and ordinary Ning Rongrong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Soon, the two of them came from a remote alley, back to the streets of Soto City. Ning Rongrong, who was still a little cautious at first, was already jumping up and down. Crowded place, Ye Qiu definitely wouldn't dare do anything to him. Smart blue eyes, keep scanning around for the right hotel. From time to time, he glanced at Ye Qiu who was silent. Seeing that he ignored him, he curled his lips somewhat unhappily. She has never been ignored like this by anyone in her entire life. He will be bleeding profusely later, so that he can have a long memory and never forget this lady. The thought of waiting a while, his scowl, she felt very exciting and interesting. And her red thin lips could not help but curl up. Ye Qiu on the side, although I was watching the fireworks around me, but he could also see the expressions on Ning Rongrong's face. I couldn't help but laugh in my heart. She was just a child who hadn't been beaten yet. He didn't know that the little witch had been tricked by him. What expression will it look like? On the road, Ye Qiu paused. He saw a special pink building with beautiful scenery exposed. It is an important landmark in the original work. It is the Rose Hotel with a flower-shaped appearance. Ye Qiu, you don't want to drag this little girl to do bad things, do you? You just met. Ah Yin frowned slightly. Of course she knew what to do in that kind of hotel. It's nothing more than a bloody battle or a last-ditch battle. Ye Qiu heard that A Yin actually called himself a beast in his heart. The corner of his mouth suddenly twitched. He retorted in his heart, A Yin, when did your thoughts become so dirty? I know exactly what I'm thinking. Don't put your own thoughts on me. I don't have that idea. Ah Yin immediately refuted it, blushing, feeling a little guilty. She really didn't feel that Ye Qiu had any evil intentions. He said angrily, it's not just you. You always think about inappropriate things. Otherwise, how could I misunderstand you? Misunderstand? Ye Qiu raised his eyebrows and raised a smirk on his lips, smiled teasingly. Since you misunderstood me, I will punish you a little. Punishment? What punishment? Ah Yin was puzzled and had a habit of checking Ye Qiu's thoughts. Ye Qiu finished speaking, directly press the blue and gold-edged grass belt around your waist, to prevent her from escaping. Then all kinds of knowledge-increasing blockbusters in my mind were presented to me. Ah Yin was about to explore. I saw scenes that I had never experienced before. His face turned red. Ah Ye Qiu. You, please let me go. I don't want to see these things. You are obscene and shameless. No. I don't want to read it, and I'm not allowed to think about it. Ah Yin shouted in shame and anger. Even if you close your eyes and cover your ears, the scene of his battle with Ye Qiu was still deeply engraved in his soul. Not much time was wasted in the exchange between the two, but just as Ye Qiu was distracted, when communicating with Ah Yin and solving her doubts, but his eyes were still looking at the Rose Hotel. He stopped to watch this scene. Ning Rongrong next to him was also caught red-handed. Seeing Ye Qiu's eyes, Ning Rongrong followed his gaze. See the pink and charming Rose Hotel. His expression suddenly changed. He pulled his collar and looked at Ye Qiu with a more wary look in his eyes. She is not a little girl who has never seen the world. Ning Rongrong knew exactly what was being done there. Ye Qiu's review of knowledge did not stop until Ah Yin shouted that he was sorry and was about to cry. Ah Yin's branches and leaves also quietly shrank back. She no longer had time to care about how Ye Qiu would play with Ning Rongrong. As the heroine in the picture, she will probably not be able to face Ye Qiu for a while. It looks like from the outside, he was just stunned for a moment, and then a smirk appeared on the corner of his mouth. He noticed Ye Qiu's eyes turning towards him. Ning Rongrong immediately crossed her arms to protect her small, impoverished body. He spat secretly and cursed softly. Beast! Okay. Ye Qiu was startled and looked at her appearance. I also understand where she was thinking. He smiled helplessly. Is it possible that I look very perverted? Why do both of them feel that they want to take Ning Rongrong to rent a house now? But now that Ah Yin has been punished, Ye Qiu didn't want to favor one over the other. After scratching her tablet, he rolled his eyes, curled his lips and said disdainfully. Tch Princess Taiping. After finishing speaking, Ning Rongrong was startled for a moment. She immediately gritted her teeth at such simple and easy-to-understand words. Before she could say anything, Ye Qiu's voice came to his ears again. Oh, Miss Rongrong is really too ordinary. In her sight, I saw Ye Qiu holding his head high. He looked at her and shook her head, with a face full of amusement. It seems to be saying, you can't even compare to my superficial muscles. Ning Rongrong gritted her teeth and looked at Ye Qiu's figure. How could she not be able to compare with him? He snorted coldly and looked down at himself confidently. Pupils suddenly shook, his face suddenly turned red. He was in disbelief and furious, screaming like crazy. What? Ye Qiu! Gritting teeth, he shouted Ye Qiu's name word by word. Ning Rongrong clenched her fist tightly, raised her head and was stunned for a moment, looking left and right. He finally locked his fierce gaze on Ye Qiu, who was already striding forward. He stomped the ground hard twice. If I don't take care of you, I won't be Ning Rongrong. There was a mixture of shame and anger in his blue eyes. Chase forward quickly. I originally thought about holding back, but Ye Qiu's humiliation to her was already unbearable. Ye Qiu! I have found a good place. Let's go there to eat. How about it? Ning Rongrong didn't hesitate at all and pointed directly at the tallest restaurant around. Not to mention the height. Just by looking at the gilded signboard, you can tell it's very high-end. Okay. Ye Qiu shrugged indifferently. There is a smile on his face that makes people feel like spring breeze. It's not like he's footing the bill anyway. Okay. Let's go then. Ning Rongrong's eyes flashed with cunning, and she was secretly happy. Ye Qiu also cooperated appropriately. With a worried look on his face, he reminded, but that place looks very expensive. Don't order too much, otherwise I won't be able to afford it. Humph. Don't worry, I won't starve you. Ning Rongrong patted her chest, as if thinking of something. He put it down with a blushing face. In my mind, I had already made up my mind to quietly order some dishes and pack them up before I was halfway through eating. The sun sets in the west, and the afterglow stretches across the horizon like a sword. Soon, Ye Qiu and Ning Rongrong arrived in front of the Soto Hotel. The specifications are really high. The steps are all made of marble that is as solid as white jade, and the door frames are inlaid with colorful diamonds. The 4 welcoming ladies at the door are also pleasing to the eye. He looks about 20 years old. He is about the same height. He has a handsome face, a slender and graceful figure. He is wearing a white floor-length dress with silver threads all over it. It can be considered a bit luxurious. His face is professional and gentle. Smile, welcome to the Soto Grand Hotel. As the two entered the restaurant, the 4 young ladies made sweet sounds in unison. Ye Qiu couldn't help but look sideways and admired it. Humph. You're a bastard. Ning Rongrong snorted coldly. Ye Qiu's gaze also moved down to somewhere. He also raised his eyebrows at Ning Rongrong. Ning Rongrong felt tight in her chest and her face turned dark. This bastard. I wish you all a happy life. Chapter 73 Papaya Milk Jelly. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the boundless darkness, there was the sound of rapid breathing in the dead silence. Ah Yin gently pressed her heart to her heart and curled up in the corner. The plump red lips opened and closed. Her face is like a peach blossom, and her eyes are full of shyness and lingering charm. The knowledge stuck in her mind. Even now, her body is still warm and she doesn't feel cold in this boundless darkness. I felt a little restless and ashamed. Just as Ah Yin was digesting the shock brought by Ye Qiu, outside world, Ning Rongrong and Ye Qiu were already on their way to the box. Following a girl, he walked in a long corridor. The walls on both sides were carved with dragons, phoenixes, and reliefs of various spirit beasts. There was a door every few steps. The numbers are inlaid with crystals, which is brilliant. In front of each door stood a waitress. I didn't expect there was no dine-in here. Okay, I won't let you spend too much money. Ning Rongrong waved her hands, with a smile on her face. Then do I still have to thank you? Ye Qiu rolled his eyes. He didn't think the box was expensive, and he was thinking about how to escape. Under the guidance of staff, the two of them came to a small private room. The number on the door was 6, which Ye Qiu thought was quite appropriate. The environment in the box is quite simple. The large chandelier in warm colors has a dining table directly underneath. There is also a piece of fine agarwood placed in the corner, adding a touch of classic flavor to the box. As soon as I sat down, Ning Rongrong picked up the menu, looking at Ye Qiu with a smile. Ye Qiu, is it okay for me to order the food? Ye Qiu said indifferently. I'm just apologizing to you, just keep an eye on it. Even though she said this, Ye Qiu still looked at her nervously. Ning Rongrong looked down at the menu and raised her eyes slightly. There was a little cunning in his eyes. His fingers like onions fell on the menu and he made 2 gestures. This is stir-fried seasonal vegetables, this is stir-fried 100-year-old pork, and this is sweet and sour pork loin, and this is fresh abalone soup. After quickly naming a series of dishes, Ning Rongrong also stopped. He looked up at Ye Qiu and saw that his expression was as usual. He pondered for a moment and stopped adding food. Putting down the menu in his hand, he said to the waitress next to him, well, that's it, hurry up and bring it over. Okay, please wait for 2 distinguished guests. The waitress responded respectfully and left with small steps. I didn't expect you to order just these dishes. Ye Qiu looked at her in surprise. He originally thought that Ning Rongrong would just wave his hand. Let's take a look at everything on the menu. Humph. Aren't I afraid that you won't be able to afford it? Ning Rongrong pursed her lips, but she was snickering in her heart. The prices here were not cheap, and she was afraid of scaring Ye Qiu away. All she has to do is order some food on the way, then just leave. Ye Qiu chuckled. He would not think that the little witch Ning Rongrong would let him go like this. If he doesn't take action, he will be the one who suffers. He looked at the tea on the table, a transparent glass kettle with several thumb-thick ginseng soaked in it. Since I'm leaving soon, let's take a drink of water. Pick it up and pour yourself a glass. Take a sip. It is slightly bitter, sweet, and the mouth is filled with medicinal aroma. Hey! Ye Qiu, why are you so rude? You have no gentlemanly manners at all. Where's my lady's tea? Ning Rongrong raised her pretty face and tapped her finger bones lightly on the table, a face full of arrogance. Okay, I'll pour you a drink right now. Ye Qiu thought that he was going to cheat her a lot, so he didn't care about it. You know what's going on. Ning Rongrong shook her jade feet, supported her pretty face with her little hands, and drank ginseng tea slowly. Ye Qiu looked at her beautiful face while drinking tea. Half an hour later, Ye Qiu has already drank several cups of tea. However, his eyes were still on Ning Rongrong and did not move away at all. Ning Rongrong's face turned red and she felt uncomfortable all over. Finally, I couldn't bear it anymore, snapped. He patted the table and made a sweet sound. Ye Qiu. What are you looking at this lady for? That the willow eyebrows were raised, and the eyes were shy and angry. Haha. Sorry, I just calmed down and took a look, and I found that you are quite beautiful. Ye Qiu smiled and looked away. What she said was not false, her looks were indeed impressive. No woman doesn't like to be praised for her good looks, and the little witch Ning Rongrong is no exception. He rolled his eyes at Ye Qiu happily and said proudly, "Huh. You don't need to tell me that this lady is naturally beautiful." "Yes, for a natural beauty." Ye Qiu nodded, drank the tea in his hand, and stood up. "Hey, what do you want to do? You don't want to escape the bill, do you?" Seeing him getting up, Ning Rongrong immediately cheered up and looked at Ye Qiu suspiciously. "With his outfit, shouldn't you be unable to afford the amount of consumption you ordered? What are you thinking? I specially invited you to dinner to apologize. I can still afford this amount of money. I was just too fascinated by what you were looking at and drank too much water. Now I need to go out and drain the excess water from my body." Ye Qiu looked at her angrily and explained. "I didn't expect that. What you said was quite interesting. Who told you to look at it randomly?" This was the first time for Ning Rongrong to hear someone explain the story in such a fresh and refined way. Smiling and glaring at Ye Qiu, he also dispelled his doubts and snorted coldly. "Humph. Go quickly." "Okay." Ye Qiu nodded, opened the door and walked out. Just went out, he couldn't hide the proud smile on his face, and turned back to look at the house number. "This time I just want to be the sixth child." He looked at the waiter at the door, waved, and the two started whispering to each other. Another half-quarter of an hour, Ye Qiu had already walked out of the hotel triumphantly. He already had a feast packed into his soul guide, and now he had to find a place to stay, and in box number 6 there was also a waiter knocking on the door to serve food. Tuck tuck. "Please come in." Ning Rongrong kicked the table legs in boredom. She thought it was Ye Qiu who was back. A waitress came over holding a jade butterfly. In Ning Rongrong's doubtful eyes, a piece of jelly-like food was placed in front of her. It looked like an upside-down bowl with a red wolfberry on top. The waitress placed a spoon against the edge of the jade butterfly and said in a soft voice, "Dear guest, this is the papaya custard you asked us to serve first." "Papaya blancmange? Did you order the wrong dish? I never ordered this dish." Ning Rongrong suddenly felt something bad in her heart. "That's right. Your partner ordered this specially for you. He asked me to tell you before he left. He wants you to eat more so that you can grow better." "What nonsense is this bastard talking about?" Ning Rongrong's face turned red and she was gnashing her teeth. He immediately reacted and quickly asked, "What did you say? Leave? That bastard Ye Qiu is gone." "Yes, he has already packed up a dish and left, saying that you will pay for it." After listening to the waitress, Ning Rongrong still didn't know that she had been tricked. Her small chest was rising and falling, as if she was very angry, looking at the papaya milk jelly made out of shapes on the table. My little face turned red and my red lips were bitten to the point of bleeding. His little hands kept slapping the table, going crazy. "Ah! This lady is so angry. Get it away from me. Get it away. I don't need to eat this kind of thing." "Okay, could you please pay the bill first?" "Ye Qiu. You wait for me, miss." Ye Qiu, who was looking for a place to stay, paused when he heard Ning Rongrong's curse. He shook his head with a chuckle and walked into a hotel. "I wish you all a happy life." Chapter 74. She is just my sister. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Huh, cool. In a pretty good hotel, from a certain room. Ye Qiu's admiration came from a certain room after he had had enough wine and food. After smacking his lips, Ye Qiu poured himself another cup of ginseng tea. As for Ning Rongrong, there is no need for him to worry too much. Her Qibao glazed sect has great achievements and is as rich as the country. I just picked some expensive dishes to pack. Ning Rongrong could afford it. After sipping the tea, Ye Qiu poured the remaining tea into the blue silver emperor potted plant next to him. Then he took out the hair crystal that he had cut off his beard. At first glance, the crystal is very turbid and has a lot of yellow spots, but it is the best among hair crystals. Plate crystal, there are thousands of dragon beard needles gathered inside. In Tang San's words, this plate crystal has existed for at least 100,000 years, so you can imagine how precious it is. Strange fluctuations spread. Ye Qiu has been possessed by a martial spirit and put on a 10,000 phase armor. As soon as the Eye of Insight comes out, it aims at the fragile part of the crystal and throws the plate crystal into the air. Bang! Ye Qiu attacked with 2 fists, and with all his strength, the plate crystal was smashed into powder. A strange scene appeared. Countless golden light spots surged out from the plate crystal and scattered in all directions in the room, as if the entire room was covered with a golden sheen. The dazzling golden light in the sky gives people a dazzling feeling, and the tinkling sounds are clear and sweet. Some of them collide with the walls, some with the doors and windows, and some with Ye Qiu. The crystal turned into powder on the ground, the golden light gradually fell in the air, and there was a layer of golden particles on the ground in the room. The size of each golden particle is very uniform, similar to sesame seeds, and the whole body is round and shining with a faint golden light. Ye Qiu's eyes flickered. Use the Eye of Insight to collect these golden particles one by one. Looking at a large handful of golden sand-like dragon beard needles in his hand, Ye Qiu also became interested. Leaving one in his hand, Ye Qiu looked at the quilt on the bed. Fingertips flicked hard. After being injected with soul power, the particle instantly turned into a slender golden thread and pierced into the quilt. Looking at the motionless quilt, Ye Qiu was a little confused. Why is the effect different when I use it myself? Why doesn't this quilt get twisted when it's hit by a dragon's beard needle? If his discerning eye hadn't been open all the time, he would have suspected that he had missed the shot. I went to bed and searched for a while. Only then did Ye Qiu find the dragon's beard needle and take it out from the quilt. To the north. Looking at this little thing, Ye Qiu curled his lips helplessly. It seems that the novel is too exaggerated. It doesn't matter if there is a bulge in the flesh when it penetrates. It is simply a fantasy to think that such a small needle can move the entire quilt. The quilt was not rolled up, and Ye Qiu did not underestimate it. After all, it is the 8th-ranked hidden weapon. After tinkering for a while again, I tested the effective range. Just put it away. With Ye Qiu's current soul power, the range is almost 5 meters. If it exceeds 5 meters, the dragon's beard needle will shrink first due to lack of soul power. Looking at the motionless blue silver emperor next to him, Ye Qiu raised his eyebrows and reached out to grab its branches and leaves. The second soul ring flashed. Ah Yin, do you want to practice together tonight? Don't want. After a long silence, Ah Yin's voice rang out. Okay then. Are you so afraid that I will bully you? Pity. Ye Qiu chuckled, not hiding the teasing in his heart. This is what he said from the bottom of his heart. Linking. Ah Yin gritted his teeth. There was nothing he could do about Ye Qiu's desire to possess him. Ye Qiu ignored all the shame and embarrassment in his heart. Ye Qiu's memories in this short period of time also flooded into Ah Yin's mind. She suddenly felt a little sympathy for Ning Rongrong. Stealing chickens will not lose rice. I also understood why Ye Qiu wanted to buy that crystal. The light is fleeting. Since Ah Yin didn't want to practice, Ye Qiu just wanted to take a short vacation for himself. After washing up quickly, I flopped onto the bed. Sleep until you wake up naturally. The next day, it was noon, and the sun was as scorching as fire. There is still an endless stream of pedestrians at the west gate of Soto City. There were 2 boys and girls walking together outside the city. The boy had black hair. He is almost 1.7 meters tall, wearing a light blue cloth and surrounded by 24 gems around his waist. Who else could it be if it wasn't Tang San? Seeing the thick and simple city wall in front of him, Tang San turned to look at the pink girl not far away. Xiao Wu, Soto City is ahead. Xiao Wu was holding a big lotus leaf in her hand to block the scorching sun in the sky. A pair of pink rabbits swayed slightly above the head. The delicate and pretty face is full of expectation. Looking at the pink ring on her ring finger, her beautiful eyebrows curved and she smiled happily. The pink clothes wrapped around her body that had begun to grow. Under her small waist, her extremely slender and well-proportioned legs were stretched out, making her look very tall. She was half a head taller than Tang San next to her. Compared with her, Tang San looked very ordinary and ordinary. Hear Tang San's voice, Xiao Wu raised her eyes to look at the city wall, smiled and nodded. Well, Sister Xiao Wu saw it, looking at her smiling face, Tang San, who was not a womanizer, also felt a little shaken in his heart. Unfortunately, that smile was not because of him. Mistress, hurry up and follow. Xiao Wu threw away the lotus leaf in her hand and ran towards the city with a smile. She just wanted to see Ye Qiu as soon as possible. Oh, here we come. Looking at Xiao Wu's cheerful back, Tang San couldn't help but smile, but at the same time he felt a little bitter in his heart. She's just my sister. Xiao Wu happily jumped into the city, but she was a little confused before taking a few steps. Compared to Nodding City, Soto City is indeed very big, and those tall buildings are a bit dazzling. Look at the pedestrians coming and going around you, although it is very lively. But Ye Qiu was not around, and Xiao Wu had no interest in playing. The pair of rabbit ears on his head drooped down, discouraged. Why is this place so big? When can I find that guy Ye Qiu? Xiao Wu's depressed look. Tang San couldn't help but smile bitterly, feeling a little jealous in his heart. He said comfortingly. Xiao Wu, don't be anxious. Anyway, Ye Qiu will go to Shrek Academy, and then we can meet. How about we find a place to live first? Then we go out for a walk together and see if we can meet Ye Qiu. Xiao Wu's crimson eyes blinked twice and scanned the surrounding environment. She was helpless, he had no choice but to nod his head and agree. Okay. Well, let's find a place to live first. Tang San smiled slightly. Xiao Wu wanted to find Ye Qiu, but he just wanted to hang out with Xiao Wu. There was no conflict. After discussion, the two began to wander around Soto City. As the two of them walked on the road, Tang San's eyes were quickly attracted by a 3-story red building. He felt that Xiao Wu would definitely like this store. Dang even pointed to the past. Xiao Wu, how about we go there and ask? Okay. Xiao Wu looked at the red building in the distance. As far as the color was concerned, it really suited her liking, so she agreed without thinking too much. Can. As soon as the two entered the store, a blond man came not far away, holding a pair of twin sisters. Just when Xiao Wu and the two were looking for a place to stay, Ye Qiu had just woken up. I also plan to go out foraging. By the way, let's see if we can find Xiao Wu or some other key figures. I wish you all a happy life. Chapter 75. A good dog doesn't block the road. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Take Ah Yin with you. I randomly found a small shop and visited the 5 Zong temple. Ye Qiu started wandering on the street. There was no Ah Yin shouting in my ears. It's also a bit unaccustomed. Tomorrow is Shrek's registration day. According to the original plot, Tang San and Dai Mubai will have an encounter at the Rose Hotel. Ye Qiu thinks, even if you have your own intervention, that silly rabbit will still walk in half the time. After all, she was only in her early 10 years and had not had much exposure to these things, but Ye Qiu wasn't too worried about her. Xiao Wu's cultivation should be at level 46 now. He has the sole skill of teleportation, especially the invincible golden body. If Dai Mubai dares to speak rudely, a severe beating was inevitable. Think of this. Ye Qiu then changed direction, no longer wandering around, but walking in the direction of the Rose Hotel. With any luck, maybe you can see Dai Mubai rushing into the street. Rose Hotel, just entered this hotel. Xiao Wu noticed something was wrong. The atmosphere created here, especially the ambiguous look in the front desk clerk's eyes, it all made her very uncomfortable. After learning that this hotel only has one room, she decisively chose to leave. She did not forget Ye Qiu's words at all, not to mention this situation. Even without Ye Qiu's advice, she would not be in the same room with another member of the opposite sex, only. At this time, Xiao Wu and Tang San were stopped at the door. It was a man with blonde hair and strange eyes. He is not very old, probably 15 or 16 years old, wearing a white gold outfit. Her long golden hair hangs straight down to her waist, and her eyes have strange pupils. They were hugging each other, hugging a pair of twins. The twins were only 17 or 18 years old. They wore heavy makeup and had good figures, but their temperament was very vulgar. Dai Mubai shows the scene where Xiao Wu is about to leave with Tang San. Panoramic view. After seeing Xiao Wu, his mouth twisted and he let out a few evil laughs. His words and deeds were very frivolous. He said to Tang San, "Haha. Little brother, Wouldn't it be a pity that such high-quality resources are let go like this? Tang San frowned and wanted to explain, but Xiao Wu didn't have that much time to listen to such nonsense. What if Ye Qiu sees him here? It was very uncomfortable to be looked at by the man in front of me. There was a bit of disgust in his eyes. Xiao Wu said coldly. Who are you? Get out of here, Sister Xiao Wu. I didn't expect to be a little pepper. It seems that I am very lucky. Do you want me, little girl? Dai Mubai was stunned for a moment and smiled even more happily. The movements of his hands were also a little bigger, and the twin sisters in his arms were moaning and twisting their bodies coquettishly. A good dog stays out of the way. Get out of my way, otherwise don't blame Sister Xiao Wu for being rude. Xiao Wu frowned and shouted coldly again. She was unhappy because she accidentally entered such a place, and the other person's look made her even more disgusted. What kind of bullshit resources? Sister Xiao Wu is not one of them. Tang San looked at this scene, and he could feel that Dai Mubai was not simple. He wanted to warn Xiao Wu not to be impulsive, but he also understood that his words had no effect at all. I could only watch quietly from the sidelines. The guy opposite is not very old, and there is absolutely no problem with Xiao Wu Huan's sex cultivation. Tang San knew Xiao Wu's strength, but others didn't. Haha. After Xiao Wu finished speaking, the twin sisters kept laughing as if they had heard some joke. They knew how powerful Dai Mubai was. He glanced at Xiao Wu disdainfully and continued to move his body to tease Dai Mubai, his eyes filled with excitement. Dai Mubai's smile also turned grim. His temper is not very good, he is bellicose and irritable, and he is not polite even to women. Sneered. Little girl, you are really not afraid of tigers like a newborn calf. You actually want to start a fight with me. Then I'll make it happen. If you beat me, I will get out of the way immediately. If you lose, you will have to pay the price for scolding me. Talking, Dai Mubai looked at Xiao Wu with an evil light in his eyes. It was obvious what would happen if he lost. The twin sisters next to him smiled foolishly at him, let go of his arms, and stood aside. Just fight. I'm still afraid of you. Xiao Wu, who had been an eldest sister at Notting College for several years, was not timid at all and immediately decided in her heart that she would give Dai Mubai a good lesson. Just ready to take action, Tang San stood next to her, eyes narrowed slightly, somewhat wary. A man's responsibility. It made him feel that he still had to perform at this time. Xiao Wu, how about I do it? No need, Sister Xiao Wu has to do it by herself. Xiao Wu waved her hand. How could she pretend to do something like a fight to someone else? She couldn't help but be able to vent her anger. The 2 months without Ye Qiu were boring, and coupled with the anger he had suffered just now, there was another layer of buffs. Haha. No need to argue, you can come together, I can bear it. Dai Mubai sneered. He waved to them with contemptuous eyes and didn't care. Hear his words. Tang San's eyes were strange, and he looked at Dai Mubai with some sympathy. Humph. I'm bragging and I don't even draft a draft. Let's see if Sister Xiao Wu doesn't beat you to pieces later. Xiao Wu snorted coldly, with his hands on his hips. He stood opposite Dai Mubai handsomely. Master Dai, Master Dai. At this time, the manager of the store finally heard the sound and came over. There was an anxious look on his face. Master Dai, for my sake, why don't you forget it? My small shop can't stand the trouble of a few people, and peace is more important than anything else. Stop talking nonsense, all losses are mine. Dai Mubai pushed away the manager next to him. He was looking forward to enjoying himself after the fight. How can this matter be revealed so easily? Possessed by the white tiger, Dai Mubai shouted coldly. 3 soul rings, 2 yellow and 1 purple, immediately appeared on his body. A burst of milky white light flashed, the bones all over the body crackled, the muscles on the body swelled, stretching the clothes on the body, and the lines of every muscle became clear and abnormal. Sharp claws protruded from his hands, his hair turned black and white, and the word appeared on his forehead. With a face full of arrogance, he proudly introduced Dai Mubai, Martial Spirit White Tiger, Level 37 Battle Spirit Lord. Tang San's expression condensed. I didn't expect that the other party would have such a level of cultivation at his age. Definitely considered a genius, but any genius would be eclipsed in front of Xiao Wu now. Even my own teacher said this. Xiao Wu not only broke the record of becoming a soul lord, but also broke the record of becoming a soul sect. He is the youngest soul sect recorded in the Pancontinent Spirit Hall. It turns out to be a little tiger. Seeing Dai Mubai's martial soul and soul ring, Xiao Wu sneered, there was deep disdain in his eyes. I'll beat you into a sick cat later. Huh. I hope your strength can be as tough as your mouth. Dai Mubai looked at her strangely, just think that Xiao Wu is being harsh. Then give it a try. Xiao Wu stretched out her hand and hooked her fingers towards Dai Mubai. Little sick cat, come and play with Sister Xiao Wu. That at the same time, the rabbit on his head swayed slightly, and a soft white tail appeared on his lower back. His figure became much taller again, and the lines on his body became much softer. The soul ring under his feet slowly rose. Dai Mubai's expression remained contemptuous until he saw Xiao Wu's third soul ring, and his expression became serious. How can it be? Dai Mubai suddenly shouted in horror, his strange eyes staring at the boss, as if he had seen a ghost. Staring at the 4 soul rings at Xiao Wu's feet, his eyes were filled with disbelief. This is impossible. How young are you, yet you are already a soul sect, that I wish you all a happy life. Chapter 76 Experience 1, Heartfelt. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Humph. Are you afraid now? It's too late. Xiao Wu snorted coldly, he ignored Dai Mubai's shock at all, he kicked his feet hard and was about to kill Dai Mubai. Afraid? I have never been afraid of anyone in my whole life. Dai Mubai's face darkened, even if I already have the intention to retreat, I still understand that this matter cannot be solved today, the loser does not lose the formation. Dai Mubai is not completely incapable of fighting. He looked at Xiao Wu who was attacking towards him. Dai Mubai took a deep breath and shouted suddenly. The third soul skill, White Tiger Vajra Transformation. Drink. As the third soul ring under his feet flashed, Dai Mubai's body expanded further, and the clothes on his body exploded. There are even black and white stripes on the skin. Compared to a real tiger, it's just a little hairier. The tiger palms on both hands stretched out again, and the sharp claws on them poked out, shining with cold light. Dai Mubai stared at Xiao Wu with evil eyes. No excessive nonsense. His third soul skill can double his resistance to abnormal conditions as well as his attack power, defense power, and strength for half an hour. Facing the soul sect, any temptation seemed feeble. He must be at his strongest. Decide the winner quickly. Click. Dai Mubai's body sank, and the floor beneath his feet cracked. Tang San felt as if he had turned into an evil tiger, and the air around Dai Mubai became violent. Pretend, Sister Xiao Wu, I'll beat you to death right now. Swish. The first soul ring flashed. Xiao Wu's body was in the air, and she suddenly made a sweeping sweep, using her belt and legs to kick Dai Mubai's temple. Dai Mubai sneered and raised his hands to block. Xiao Wu immediately changed her moves. A single chop of his long, well-proportioned and powerful legs will teach him how to behave. However, Dai Mubai showed no reaction. Wait until Xiao Wu reaches in front of him. The arms that were crossed in front of him suddenly opened. Dai Mubai raised his head. There is a ball of milky white light in the mouth. The second soul ring under his feet flashed. The second soul skill, White Tiger Fierce Light Wave. Dai Mubai's movements were extremely swift and violent, and he didn't wait for others to react. Vaguely, several people around seemed to hear a tiger roar. Dai Mubai's chest deflated, and he suddenly spit out a milky white beam of light and blasted it towards Xiao Wu. He doesn't have the face to lose to a girl. He pretended to be defensive in order to find the opponent's weaknesses. At this time, Xiao Wu was stuck in the air, and so close to myself, it is impossible to avoid his own White Tiger Fierce Light Wave. The twin sisters next to them had covered their eyes, afraid of seeing this cruel scene. Bang! There was an explosion, a hole appeared on the pink ceiling, and large cracks appeared around it. A large amount of wall dust and brick debris were scattered on the ground. How can it be? What about people? Dai Mubai's pupils suddenly dilated. An attack at such a close range actually missed. How can this be? But he didn't have time to be shocked. A strong wind had already hit the back of his head. Immediately boost your soul power and the first soul ring under your feet flashes. Tang San chuckled, looking at Xiao Wu who had appeared behind Dai Mubai. He knew very well, just that moment, Xiao Wu used her third soul skill, teleportation, swish. Xiao Wu's eyes were cold, and her long legs were like whips, swung on the back of Dai Mubai's head. The first soul skill, White Tiger Protective Barrier, Dai Mubai shouted loudly, and a white shield appeared on his body. Xiao Wu's attack only made his body sway twice. The second soul skill, White Tiger Fierce Light Wave. Roar, just as he defended himself against Xiao Wu's attack, Dai Mubai quickly turned around and spit out another milky white light beam. Xiao Wu frowned and her third soul ring flashed. He disappeared from Dai Mubai's eyes again, bang. The beam of light hit the beam of the door of the Rose Hotel, making an explosion. So fast, Dai Mubai's eyes were a little dazed, and he quickly concentrated on catching Xiao Wu's figure, swish, swish. Xiao Wu's body kept flickering, Dai Mubai was alert, standing there and shaking his head, swish. Court death, Xiao Wu's figure suddenly appeared right in front, Dai Mubai shouted angrily. The second soul skill, just when he was about to use the White Tiger Fierce Light Wave again, his eyes were filled with pink, and his brain suddenly became drowsy, the second soul skill, charm. The light of the second soul ring at Xiao Wu's feet dimmed, and the first soul ring flashed next. Puff. A leg sweep, he kicked Dai Mubai on the left side of his face, a little blood appeared at the corner of his mouth, and his body was staggering and about to fall to the ground. The first soul skill, waist bow, as Xiao Wu's voice sounded, with a flick of his braid, Dai Mubai was thrown high into the air, not good. Dai Mubai woke up and felt the pain on his face and the feeling of weightlessness. There is no place for leverage, Xiao Wu's was nowhere to be seen, he had no choice but to bite the bullet and activate his first soul skill, the first soul skill, White Tiger Protective Barrier. Swish swish. Using teleportation and waist bow, Dai Mubai was constantly being kicked around by Xiao Wu like a ball. Even with the protection of the white shield, his internal organs were still shaken, and his breathing became somewhat unsmooth. Looking at this scene, the twin sisters had their mouths opened. No sound can be made, click. The White Tiger's protective barrier shattered, Dai Mubai's face was filled with endless panic. Puff. Blood spurted out of his mouth and there were a few shoe prints on his body. Xiao Wu finally had enough fun. A good dog doesn't block the way, get out of the way, Sister Xiao Wu. Bang. With a scream, Dai Mubai's body suddenly flew outside like a broken sack. Ye Qiu left for about a quarter of an hour, that's 3 stories high. Only then did the pink building shaped like a rose come into view. The street is wide. Ye Qiu lifted his steps and walked towards the opposite side. The eye of insight can already see the fluctuations of soul power coming from there. Just reached the middle of the road. A graceful black figure was about to pass by him. There was a sudden pause in his footsteps. The light of the eye of insight flashes. I was quickly attracted by the pair of stalwarts. He lowered his head and couldn't see his toes. His eyes were cold, and he was a great soul master. The key is that he is still wearing leather pants and cat hair accessories. In Ye Qiu's eyes, this person's identity insulted her figure and was about to come out. Big cat. Zhu Zhuqing. Just as Ye Qiu was hesitating, how about stepping forward and bumping into her now? Experience the feeling of confiding in your heart. When it looks familiar, a sad scream suddenly attracted the attention of everyone on this street. I saw, a figure flew out of the Rose Hotel. It fell down hard, making a muffled sound on the ground, and there were a few more cracks on the ground. How embarrassing, followed by, a pink figure that Ye Qiu was very familiar with, appear in front of the store. How about it? You sick cat, do you dare to block the road and talk nonsense? No, it should be a little tabby cat now, a stray cat that pounces on the street without anyone picking it up. Xiao Wu put one hand on her hip. He looked at Dai Mubai jokingly, who had just gotten up and glared at him. I wish you all a happy life. Q skirt, 6233511853. Chapter 77 Ye Qiu, you scumbag who cheats on your feelings. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dai Mubai's martial soul possession has collapsed. The clothes were in tatters, with bruises and shoe marks on his face and body, and his long blonde hair was messy. He looked like a stray kitten. He stooped and reluctantly stood up, with violent eyes and clenched fists. Dai Mubai has never suffered such a big loss since he came to Soto City, but at this time, the enemy is strong and we are weak, so he has no choice but to admit defeat. He gritted his teeth and said. This time, I, Dai Mubai, admit defeat. Zhu Zhuqing's pupils shrank, he stared straight at Dai Mubai, not expecting to see him like this. Ye Qiu's location is very close to the Rose Hotel. Dai Mubai's lowered voice could still be heard clearly, her expression changes, it was also within Ye Qiu's expectation. Haha. They said a good dog doesn't block the road, but now it's really like a lost dog. Hearing his words, Xiao Wu smiled and mocked, she had a great time hitting the sandbag just now. You. Ahem. Dai Mubai's eyes widened, he was so angry that he coughed up some blood, he was kicked around, in addition to the shock to his internal organs, at least 3 ribs were broken, otherwise, he wouldn't be unable to stand up straight. Don't be too proud that we meet in the mountains and rivers. Sooner or later I will return it. Dai Mubai looked at Xiao Wu with a hateful look on his face. At this time, he has no shame to stay here, he is a proud man. The eyes of the people around him were like knives piercing into his poor self-esteem. Leave a word behind. Dai Mubai limped to leave this place. Master Dai, Master Dai. When the manager saw him leaving, he quickly chased after him. He couldn't afford the loss. Master Dai, are you okay? We. Go away. Dai Mubai threw down a bag of gold soul coins and pushed away the twin sisters who were about to greet them. See the twins. Zhu Zhuqing's eyes turned cold, and his face became even colder. Dai Mubai hadn't walked a few steps when he felt something in his heart. When he turned around, he only saw a graceful figure from behind, frowning. He couldn't stay any longer in his current state, so he suppressed the throbbing in his heart and left quickly. Tch. Sister Xiao Wu, I'm still afraid that I won't succeed. Xiao Wu curled her lips in disdain and released the spirit's possession, he said to Tang San next to him. Mistress, let's leave quickly and find another place. Oh, that's fine. Tang San's eyes swept in Ye Qiu's direction without leaving any trace, and he quickly followed Xiao Wu's footsteps, looking at the domineering Xiao Wu. I will miss myself. Ye Qiu couldn't help but smile. I don't want to bump into Zhu Zhuqing for the time being. The two just passed each other. An arrogant and angry voice stopped Ye Qiu's footsteps once again. Ye Qiu. .2 characters echoed through the streets. Just as Xiao Wu was about to leave, her body trembled and she immediately turned around. Crimson eyes welled up with surprise. After a shout, there were curses. You bastard! How dare you deceive me? Came the sound. Ye Qiu turned around. Behind him, a figure dressed in cyan sprinted towards Ye Qiu quickly. Her delicate and charming face was an angry red. The blue eyes were stern. The person who came was none other than Ning Rongrong, who had been tricked by Ye Qiu. Ever since I was tricked by Ye Qiu yesterday, in addition to sleeping and eating, she has been running around in the streets, just for revenge. She, Ning Rongrong, has grown so big. I have never been teased or humiliated like this before. What? Ning Rongrong went crazy and rushed towards Ye Qiu with his teeth and claws bared. It seems to bite and scratch with its hands. Swish. Ye Qiu turned sideways slightly and hid, with his hands behind his back. He was at ease. There was a joke in the corners of his mouth. Ning Rongrong, what a coincidence. Looking at Ye Qiu's smiling face, Ning Rongrong clenched her fists tightly, wishing to smash him with one punch. He cursed angrily. You bastard, it's a coincidence that you're tall. You still dare to hide? Still laughing? This lady is not done with you. This sudden scene, it also made Zhu Zhuqing stop in his tracks. After just one glance at Ye Qiu, she decided to leave again. Ye Qiu. However, but another voice calling out the word Ye Qiu sounded in her ears. The difference is, the voice was crisp, full of surprise and excitement, and a little familiar. He turned around and looked again. It was the girl in pink who had humiliated Dai Mubai just now. He was throwing himself into his arms with joy and joy, extremely fast. Zhu Zhuqing's eyes flashed with solemnity. Ye Qiu. He dodged Ning Rongrong's attack again. Ye Qiu opened his arms and embraced Xiao Wu, who had been away for a long time. Ye Qiu. Xiao Wu is like an octopus, hanging on Ye Qiu's body, too well proportioned. Soft long legs also tightly restrained Ye Qiu. Ye Qiu, Sister Xiao Wu miss you so much. He hugged Ye Qiu's neck, and kept rubbing Ye Qiu's face with his rosy face. Yeah, I miss you too. The frequent warmth and smoothness on his face made Ye Qiu feel very comfortable. Both hands gently caressed Xiao Wu's waist and held her in his arms. Really? Of course it's true. Ye Qiu had a gentle smile on his face and his expression was sincere. Xiao Wu's pretty face flushed, her crimson eyes sparkling, staring blankly at Ye Qiu. Ning Rongrong looked at this scene, curious though, but he didn't have time to think too much. He took this opportunity and directly grabbed Ye Qiu's hand on Xiao Wu's waist. Humph, Ye Qiu. I've caught you. You are dead. Seeing her grinding her teeth, Ye Qiu couldn't help but remind her, Ning Rongrong. I advise you to be kind. Kind? Don't even think about it. Let's see if I don't bite you to death. Say it. He picked up Ye Qiu's hand and bit it down. Although Ye Qiu didn't mind letting her bite him, he wasn't happy with the wrong position and force. A layer of steel mecha suddenly appeared on the arm. Ah! So hard. Ning Rongrong bit it down and cried out in pain, tears suddenly filling her eyes. Wu. He quickly let go of Ye Qiu and covered his mouth. Green eyes flashing with tears were still looking at Ye Qiu fiercely, like a little daughter-in-law who has been abandoned. Tears are hazy, and I feel pity. Ha! Ning Rongrong, I have already reminded you. Ye Qiu couldn't help laughing when he saw her tearful eyes. You bastard, you're still laughing. I'm not done with you anymore. Ning Rongrong covered her mouth and her words were a little unclear. Ye Qiu. Who is she? Why did she bite you? Xiao Wu, who was hanging on Ye Qiu, finally landed on the ground, but still hugged him. The eyes that looked at Ning Rongrong were alert and wary. She's just a naughty young lady. Don't pay attention to her for now. Have you eaten yet? I'll take you to eat. Ye Qiu waved his hand and didn't even look at Ning Rongrong. Instead, he put his arms around Xiao Wu's shoulders and wanted to take her away from here, have a meal. Ning Rongrong got angry when she heard about eating. Ye Qiu. You have lied to me, and you still want to eat. No way. He immediately stamped his feet twice and stepped forward to pull Ye Qiu. Xiao Wu stood in front of Ye Qiu in a flash, her back pressed tightly into Ye Qiu's arms, and she looked at Ning Rongrong warily. Go away and don't touch my Ye Qiu. Ye Qiu rolled his eyes, feeling amused. He didn't expect that this stupid rabbit was quite good at protecting food. You're Ye Qiu. Ning Rongrong was stunned for a moment. She also saw the scene where Dai Mubai was thrown out just now. He is absolutely no match, but looking at Ye Qiu's smiling face, she felt very uncomfortable. Looking at the two intimate people, Ning Rongrong's smart blue eyes turned, and she immediately became concerned. His eyes were filled with tears even more, and he was wiping away his tears, a delicate look. Ye Qiu, you scumbag who deceives your feelings. I wish you all a happy life. Chapter 78, Dump Xiao Wu and Be With Me. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A scumbag who cheats on his feelings. After hearing Ning Rongrong's words, everyone around them looked like they were watching the excitement. No one doesn't like to read this kind of gossip. Ye Qiu's eyelids twitched. When had he deceived her feelings? Even if you have this idea, you haven't started yet, right? Not far away, Zhu Zhuqing had been watching the excitement. He also looked at Ye Qiu in surprise. She didn't think Ning Rongrong would lie. After all, which girl would joke about her innocence? What's more, Ning Rongrong appeared on the scene. She was shouting that this guy named Ye Qiu had deceived her. I just didn't expect that it was feelings that were deceived. Suddenly, Zhu Zhuqing looked at Ye Qiu with a hint of disgust. Tang San on the side, there was a hint of admiration in his eyes. He didn't expect that Ye Qiu's methods were so powerful and yet he harmed another person. Xiao Wu also opened her small mouth, a little stunned. He looked at Ning Rongrong in surprise. Ye Qiu didn't pay attention to other people's eyes, just scoffed. Ning Rongrong, please don't talk nonsense. You are no longer a child, you must be responsible for your own words and deeds. Seeing the disdain on Ye Qiu's face, Ning Rongrong shouted sadly, I didn't talk nonsense. The tears in his eyes flowed more happily, and they were about to overflow. She twitched her nose and pinched the corner of her clothes, to add some color, thinking of Ye Qiu despising her poached eggs. Suddenly, he was filled with shame and anger, and his fair and tender face turned red. He lowered his head, looking Ashamed, twitching and sobbing, he said. Obviously you tricked me into going to the hotel yesterday. After it was over, you ran away secretly. Done. Ning Rongrong folded her hands around her chest, as if she had returned to that night, lifting up her pretty face. Eyes red, the look in Ye Qiu's eyes can be described as one of love and hate, and his acting skills are off the charts. Several black lines appeared on Ye Qiu's head. Isn't Ning Rongrong's crying outrageous? I didn't expect that you would come to me now that you have a woman. Ning Rongrong looked at Ye Qiu angrily. He looked at Xiao Wu again. People around him had gathered around and started pointing at Ye Qiu. The confused Xiao Wu was also a little confused. Look back, look at Ye Qiu carefully. Ye Qiu, is what she said true? Seeing this scene, Ning Rongrong's eyes flashed with a smile. I dare you to tease me. Ah yo! Xiao Wu suddenly cried out in pain. He covered his head and squeezed tears from the corners of his eyes. Do you think I'm that kind of person? Ye Qiu glared at her angrily. No matter what, if I really did something like that, I would definitely be responsible. Xiao Wu covered her head and looked at him aggrievedly. Ye Qiu rolled his eyes. She looked like she didn't fully believe in herself yet. He reached out directly and took her catkins in his hands. Xiao Wu's eyes were distracted, lost his mind for a moment, currently receiving Ye Qiu's memories from this time. Seeing the eloquent Douluo Yen playing tricks, his face suddenly turned red and white. I was thinking about whether I should also learn something, okay? Looking at the little rabbit, Ye Qiu's eyes were a little wonderful. There is also hope hidden in my heart. After understanding the ins and outs of the matter, Xiao Wu immediately hugged Ye Qiu's arm and swayed gently. Noa said, I'm sorry, Ye Qiu. I didn't intentionally doubt you. It doesn't matter, I don't want to blame you. Ye Qiu smiled and narrowed his eyes, picked up her chin. He leaned into her ear and whispered that he wanted to punish the little rabbit. As for the specifics, it's actually not painful or itchy, just punish her to eat only 1 carrot for dinner tonight, with Douluo Yan's pearls and jade in front. It's not that she can't accept it. The grievance on Xiao Wu's face suddenly disappeared, and her crimson eyes were filled with mist. Biting her red lips, she nodded slightly. I heard Xiao Wu apologize to Ye Qiu. Ning Rongrong looked at the blushing Xiao Wu in front of him strangely. Are you blushing and making teapot bubbles? Why is it different from what I thought? Shouldn't they start a fight and tear the scumbag apart? It seems that I have to add fuel to the fire. Immediately it started splashing again. Don't believe him, he is a scumbag. That when Tang San saw this scene, he actually hoped that Xiao Wu and Ye Qiu would break up. Only then would he have a chance. It can only be said that Ning Rongrong's acting skills were so good that even Tang San believed him, or perhaps Tang San subconsciously wanted this to come true. However, Xiao Wu would not give him this chance. Looking at Ning Rongrong, who was still slandering Ye Qiu, he didn't wait for Ye Qiu to speak. Xiao Wu's crimson eyes were filled with anger, immediately began to refute, with a cooing sound. You bullshit. Ye Qiu is not a scumbag, you are obviously lying to me. Xiao Wu stood up straight, staring at Ning Rongrong coldly. Because of this, she was hit by Ye Qiu and even asked her to be punished at night, although she doesn't think it's punishment. There is no nonsense in this lady. He is a scumbag and he just deceived me. Ning Rongrong frowned and continued to argue. What she said was half true and half false, and even she herself took it seriously. If you dare to talk nonsense again, Sister Xiao Wu will be rude to you. Xiao Wu frowned and raised her fist. Although he didn't really want to bully girls, he always said bad things about Ye Qiu. This will make Ye Qiu very unhappy. Seeing that Xiao Wu actually wanted to do something to herself, Ning Rongrong gritted his teeth. Looking behind Xiao Wu, Ye Qiu looked playful. The light flashed in his eyes. Immediately he screamed. Ye Qiu. Xiao Wu was trotting, looking at Xiao Wu's somewhat confused eyes. Hold Ye Qiu's arms in his arms. Ye Qiu, you said you like her the most. Are you really willing to let her hit me? Watching Ning Rongrong rub against Ye Qiu's body, Xiao Wu immediately reacted and wanted to pull Ning Rongrong away. You go away. You shameless woman, Ye Qiu is mine, snapped. The hand that Xiao Wu just stretched out was held by Ye Qiu. Ye Qiu. Xiao Wu looked at him blankly. A message was passed on by Ye Qiu, and she became quiet again. Ye Qiu lowered his head, looking at Ning Rongrong hugging him. He smiled softly. Miss Ning, what do you want? Ning Rongrong secretly gritted her teeth. The contact with Ye Qiu made her feel a little hot. but in order to take revenge on Ye Qiu, Ning Rongrong endured it and looked at Xiao Wu's eyes with a hint of cunning. He continued softly. Ye Qiu, as long as you dump her and stay with me, it'll be fine. Xiao Wu said angrily, don't even think about it. Okay. Ye Qiu nodded. Under Ning Rongrong's confused gaze, he suddenly hugged her waist. Ye Qiu. Xiao Wu gritted her teeth, with tears in her eyes, and glared fiercely at Ning Rongrong in his arms. Even if you know it's fake, but seeing Ye Qiu taking advantage of other women, he felt very uncomfortable. Tang San on the side, feeling joy and pain for no reason, he immediately stood up and said, Ye Qiu. How could you do this to Xiao Wu? Xiao Wu is. I wish you all a happy life. Chapter 79, You Didn't Serve Me Well Last Night. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ye Qiu glanced at Tang San. You can also guess a little bit about his little thoughts. He waved his hands and dismissed. Okay. Mistress, just watch from the side first. Done. He began to concentrate on the tablet in his arms. Seeing that Xiao Wu was not proud for a long time, Ning Rongrong noticed it. Ye Qiu's palms were stroking his waist. He finally became panicked. Ah, you, what are you going to do? Let me go quickly. Ye Qiu smiled softly. He is not someone to be bullied. He actually wanted to sow discord between himself and Xiao Wu. It's so nasty. It is unbearable. He smiled evilly, with a little desire flashing in his eyes. Yin said sadly. Didn't you say you wanted to be with me? Done. He moved his mouth to her face. Ah! Ning Rongrong screamed. Only then did I realize it. He was already held in Ye Qiu's arms, and he pushed Ye Qiu away in panic. No, please move your stinky face away. Looking at the face getting closer and closer, Ning Rongrong was panicked, ashamed, angry, and struggling at the same time. Xiao Wu on the other side was a little nervous, biting her red lips. She didn't want Ye Qiu to provoke anyone. Die to this young lady. Ning Rongrong was furious. He took out his hand and slapped Ye Qiu on the face. Fortunately, Ye Qiu didn't really want to be frivolous with her. He just let go of his arms and hid. Ah, it hurts so much. You bastard. Ning Rongrong's feet became unsteady and she fell to the ground, buttocks blossom. Ning Rongrong, didn't you say you wanted to be with me? Then why are you still struggling? Ye Qiu spread his hands, with a face full of teasing. He looked down at Ning Rongrong who was sitting on the ground. Xiao Wu saw this. He quickly stepped forward and hugged Ye Qiu's arm, looking at Ning Rongrong who was rubbing her butt. She snorted coldly. You two. How dare you two team up to play tricks on me? Ning Rongrong said with tears in her eyes and gritted teeth, looking at the two people's closeness. I still don't know where they are. I was fooled again. Tang San's eyes also flashed with a hint of disappointment. It's not just you who is making trouble unreasonably. Xiao Wu hugged Ye Qiu. Displeasure was written all over his face. Why is this young lady so unreasonable? Obviously he just lied to me. Ning Rongrong got up angrily and shouted angrily. He wiped away his tears haphazardly. He bit his red lips and stared fiercely at the dog man and woman in front of him. I felt extremely wronged. I didn't expect that I would be fooled around the first time I came out. I was defrauded of my money again, and almost defrauded of my life. Hey, if I don't play tricks on you, you will play tricks on me, so I can only kill you first. Ye Qiu shrugged and held Xiao Wu in his arms. I don't think there is any problem at all. A dead Taoist friend is not a poor Taoist. Besides, I'm not very familiar with it yet. Ning Rongrong's expression kept changing, and she felt a little guilty, but she didn't refute. Seeing that she stopped talking, Ye Qiu felt bored. He hugged Xiao Wu, greeted Tang San, and planned to leave. Mistress, let's go have a meal first. Tang San glanced at Ning Rongrong again. He also responded softly. It is good. No. You are not allowed to leave. Ning Rongrong opened his arms and stopped Ye Qiu and the others. Ye Qiu stopped and said helplessly, okay, you'd better be honest, otherwise I will really be rude to you. You're welcome. How do you want to be rude? Ning Rongrong put her hands on her hips, like a white swan. It proudly raises its white neck. He pursed his lips and said disdainfully. If you dare to touch me, none of you can escape. I promise. Oh, Ye Qiu responded indifferently, then turned around and left with Xiao Wu again. Stop for me. Ning Rongrong kept pulling and obstructing. Unfortunately, Ye Qiu and Xiao Wu ignored her and left the circle of people alone. Ye Qiu. If you want to leave, you must give the money to me. Give me the money and I'll forget about it. I'm not done with you anymore, Ning Rongrong shouted towards Ye Qiu. She had spent hundreds of gold soul coins. Even though it was a drop in the bucket for her, she could get it back. This was the only trouble she could cause for Ye Qiu. Ye Qiu, who had gone away, turned his back to her, raised his hand and waved it randomly. A joking voice spread. No, you didn't serve me well last night. Next time, if you serve me well next time, I will serve you together. Ye Qiu's voice came, and the crowd that was originally gathered here suddenly looked at her strangely. Ning Rongrong's face turned red, cursed, Ye Qiu. You shameless villain. After cursing, he looked at the strange looks around him and immediately ran away. Among them, there were some people who reacted quickly and immediately sent an invitation to her. Little sister, don't leave, let's have fun for a while. I'm playing tricks on your mother, you ugly monster, get out of my way, young lady. Ning Rongrong's eyes looked as if he wanted to kill someone. He roared angrily and left the place quickly, chasing after Ye Qiu, want to get entangled again, but Ye Qiu had already taken Xiao Wu and Tang San to the restaurant. Zhu Zhuqing looked at this dramatic scene. After roughly understanding this good show, he glanced coldly at the garbage next to him that he wanted to touch, and left quickly. At this time, inside a restaurant, Ye Qiu and the other three were waiting for the food to be served. Xiao Wu and Ye Qiu sit together, Tang San sat opposite. Feeling a little uncomfortable all over. Ye Qiu, did you really want to kiss her just now? Xiao Wu pouted, picked up the tea on the table and handed it to Ye Qiu. How could I do something like that in public? Ye Qiu rolled his eyes at her. He took a sip of the tea she handed him. Then, you will kiss her when there is no one around. Xiao Wu blushed, thinking of the first time Ye Qiu bullied her. Do you really want me to kiss her? Of course not. Then don't talk about her. Ye Qiu said calmly, exposing this moment. All right. Xiao Wu pursed her lips and leaned on Ye Qiu's shoulder. Gently smell this scent that has lasted for 2 months, the complexion is rosy. I felt a little worried, how should I deal with Ye Qiu's punishment at night? She's never done it before. Tang San was relieved when he saw that the two of them finally calmed down, otherwise, he would be full before the food was served. Xiao San, how are you? Have you broken through to the Soul Master? Ye Qiu looked at Tang San, asking knowingly. He also didn't expect that Tang San's third spirit ring would actually change, and he didn't know if there would be another 8 spider spears. Tang San raised his cup to drink tea and said with a smile, I have successfully broken through. Now I am a 30-level Soul Master. What about you? How about your 4th soul ring? It's unexpected. Unexpected? Tang San's eyes showed curiosity, but Xiao Wu, who already knew it, looked at Ye Qiu with admiration. That is the 4th ring of 10,000 years. Let's not talk about it now, you will know later. Ye Qiu smiled mysteriously and gave it away. I wish you all a happy life. Chapter 80 Let Ah Yin watch and punish Xiao Wu. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After eating, Ye Qiu took Xiao Wu and Tang San to the hotel where he was staying temporarily. Tang San opened a room. As for Xiao Wu, that he could only take the initiative to walk into Ye Qiu's room under Tang San's watch. Not happy to live alone, Xiao Wu took a shower. He took a brief nap with Ye Qiu. Little rabbit, why are you hugging me so tightly? I didn't even fall asleep. Ye Qiu groped around her waist, move it up and down from time to time, pinch it, and knead it. Xiao Wu no longer minded what Ye Qiu called her. His crimson eyes were filled with mist, and he hooked his little hands around Ye Qiu's neck and rubbed him gently in his arms. Noah said. I miss you. And you've always been dishonest, and people haven't fallen asleep either. Xiao Wu raised her pretty face and rolled her eyes at him shyly. He bit Ye Qiu's chin gently as if to retaliate, leaving some crystals behind. It was more like seduction than revenge. Of course Ye Qiu was not happy, but when he wanted to start his mouth, he found that his fair and rosy face had many teeth marks on it, and his 2 red lips were also slightly swollen. He immediately scoffed. It's all your fault that you're still laughing. Xiao Wu gave Ye Qiu a gentle blow. stroking her face with a shy smile on her face. Blame me? What's wrong with me satisfying you? Obviously it was you who said you wanted the same style as Sister Yen Yen. Ye Qiu rolled his eyes, held her buttocks, and lightly punished her twice, tuck tuck. Xiao Wu let out a cry. There was a knock on the door. Tang San's voice came from outside. Xiao Wu, Ye Qiu, do you want to go out for a walk together? That he glanced at Xiao Wu who was nestled in his arms. Ye Qiu asked, are you going? Go, you go with me. Xiao Wu blinked her eyes and nodded slightly. Then why don't you get up quickly? Aha did after her but was slapped again. Xiao Wu whimpered twice and quickly got up with a shameful face, rubbing his butt and pouting. He picked up Ye Qiu's coat. Mistress, please wait a moment. Ye Qiu also took advantage of this opportunity to respond to the door. He took the clothes from Xiao Wu's hand, get dressed and go out. Ye Qiu, wait a minute, Miss Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu quickly put on her shoes and followed. He took Ye Qiu's hand and held him tightly. The door opened, then he saw Tang San standing straight outside the door. He turned back to look at Xiao Wu. His expression was blank, and his heart was filled with waves. Xiao Wu, who was originally playful and flamboyant, became shy and charming. He had never seen such a contrast. That pretty face made him fascinated. His strong psychological quality allowed him to quickly come to his senses. Mistress, let's go. Ye Qiu closed the door. He took the lead in leading Xiao Wu downstairs. Xiao Wu followed closely, not only holding his arms, but also clasping their fingers together. Ye Qiu gave her a confused look. She didn't care. Maybe she really missed herself too much. Little did he know that it was Xiao Wu who noticed Tang San's strangeness. I made up my mind to stay away from him. Don't let Ye Qiu misunderstand. Tang San followed the two of them, feeling a little dizzy as he watched Xiao Wu clinging to. Ye Qiu quickly stepped forward, walked to Ye Qiu and walked side by side. Come on, out of sight. When she came to the street, accompanied by Ye Qiu, Xiao Wu was naturally full of energy again. Drag him around and buy things. Ye Qiu, why don't we go to that shop and have a look? Tang San pointed at Flanders' shop. Ye Qiu waved his hand and refused. I went in to see that store yesterday. You can go by yourself. Okay then. Tang San nodded and walked over there. Now that the sky is slowly getting darker, there are more stalls on the street. While Xiao Wu was buying candied haws on a stick, Ye Qiu put his hand into Rui's treasure bag and pulled out his blue and silver belt. The light fell on Ah Yin. She could also see what was happening outside. Ye Qiu's memories of this period also slowly flowed to her. There was no time to be shy. Ye Qiu's words made her face turn red with anger. Ah Yin, look at your son going shopping. That his voice came from all directions. Ah Yin bit her teeth and shouted angrily. Ye Qiu, can't you be angry with me? I've said it many times, he is not my son. You like him so much. Let him be your son. Ye Qiu sneered. He wanted to, but Ah Yin wouldn't give him a chance. Enough. What does it have to do with me if you want to be his father? Ah Yin was ashamed and angry. There was nothing he could do about the mess in Ye Qiu's heart. Okay, just kidding. Autumn leaves are enough, he said softly. I'm going shopping, why don't we go see it together? Good. Ah Yin hesitated for a moment and nodded. She couldn't bear the darkness for that long. She just felt, the light coming in is very warm. Ye Qiu, why are you smiling so happily? Xiao Wu jumped up and came to Ye Qiu holding 2 bunches of candied haws. He leaned closer to his face and observed him carefully. The more I look, the more I like it. Because I'm going shopping with you. Ye Qiu chuckled and pinched the pink rabbit ears on her head. Humph! Xiao Wu snorted cutely, but there was an unstoppable smile on his face, and his eyes narrowed into crescent moons. Even though she knew it was him who was talking nonsense, she was happy with it. He also smiled and handed over the candied haws. Ah Yin blushed and spat lightly. This little bastard always likes to bully girls. Shopping with other girls, you have to call yourself Ba. Time passed slowly and the sky became dark. After having dinner out, Tang San returned to the hotel early. People are going for a walk. It's no big deal that he's always been a lightbulb here. The key is that he is not happy either. Ye Qiu and Xiao Wu walking down the street holding hands. Xiao Wu looked sad, blushing. He glanced at Ye Qiu from time to time. What's wrong with you? Are you feeling unwell? Ye Qiu looked at her strangely and reached out to touch her forehead. It was fine before eating, why does it look like cooked shrimp now? Xiao Wu hugged him, pursed her red lips, and said shyly, Ye Qiu, Sister Xiao Wu is not very good at punishment tonight. So this is Ah. Ye Qiu's face showed a clear look, and he glanced at her moist cherry mouth with a smile, and he also looked forward to it in his heart. Think for a moment. From the soul guide, he took out a carrot-flavored lollipop and handed it to her. Here, this is for you to eat. Xiao Wu curiously took the dessert from Ye Qiu, opened the package and took a few bites. Ye Qiu looked at her well-behaved look and couldn't help but rub her head. He is not worried at all that the little dance party will not do well, not to mention that he has been eating his own candy for so many years, not to mention that this rabbit also grew up eating carrots. She wasn't treated badly at dinner either. She was just punished by having to eat only one carrot for midnight snack. It was too full for her. Ah Yin secretly hated it in her heart. Another little girl was about to be attacked by Ye Qiu, but she was powerless to stop it. Ye Qiu chuckled. He didn't care about the curse in Ah Yin's heart. He also planned to ask Ah Yin to watch him tonight as a warning to others. He quickly tied a tight knot on the blue and gold belt around his waist. Ye Qiu, what are you going to do? You are shameless. Sensing the filth in his heart, he actually wanted to watch her bully the little girl. Ah Yin was so ashamed and angry that she could only curse continuously, tightly control her body, and tighten her waist. Okay, Xiao Wu, let's go back. Ye Qiu chuckled, hugged Xiao Wu and was about to go home. Ah! Xiao Wu, who was tasting the candy, blushed and nodded. At this time, combined with the appearance of Douluo Yan in Ye Qiu's memory, she had already come to a clear understanding. I wish you all a happy life.